Hey YouTube, Skipper T here. Today we're going to do a review over 3 Schrade Bushcrafting series knives. I picked all 3 of these up. They were very affordable. In fact, I paid between $28 and $30 for each of these blades. Two of them were $28 on Amazon. One I paid $30 for. So just so that you know, very inexpensive, more than affordable, and turns out to be extremely capable knives. They all come in a nylon, ballistic, polyester, as it's referred to on the website, sheaths. These sheaths are very nice. I think they've changed them a little bit. They've made them pretty good, actually. They've got a Velcro tab here. This part here is the female version of the Velcro, but you know, you can just slip this up under your belt, fold it over. You don't have to take your belt off to put your knife on, which I think is an excellent feature on that. All 3 of these knives came with a ferrocerium rod, nice little handle on it. It's got a nice sharp heavy little striker on them, and on top of that came with a nice little diamond sharpening stone. It feels like it's a pretty fine grit on here, maybe 200 to 400 at the most, or maybe a 400 to 600, I should say. It's pretty smooth, actually. So I think basically, you know, if you put a big nick or a gouge in here, you're going to need something a little hardier than this. But to keep a honed, sharp blade on here, on your knife rather, I think this is really going to do well for that. You know, of course, I would take my leather belt off and strop it a few times just to make sure that it, you know, in essence became razor sharp. But all 3 of these knives at those price points came with this additional equipment with it. I mean, holy cow, that's fantastic. And you know, it's a nice little sheath here. It's got a little piece of elastic on the outside of this expandable pocket that helps to hold all of this in place. You could actually put, you know, a knife, or not a knife, but a small flashlight. You could hook it on the outside of that. You could put a whistle on it. You could add a couple other extra things here without any pain or suffering. So let's take them out of the sheaths and see what we've got here. And these two, the 36 and the 38, come in identical sheaths. But obviously the blade profiles are completely different. This being a drop point, this being a clip point knife. This one comes with a finger choil. This one does not. It does have a small choil down here. I suppose, you know, and in fact in the videos you're going to see that I used that with a ferrocerium rod. I don't care for that being on the blade side, because when you're scraping down on that, boy, that puts that cutting edge right next to your finger. What? Little iffy on that one, I think. But anyway, those are those 2, and then this is the 36, this is the 38, and this is the 37. This is the larger of the 3 knives. We'll move these out of the way here. And again, all 3 sheaths came with a ferrocerium rod and with a sharpening stone. I mean, holy cow, can't beat that. The 36 comes with, and I'm using my cheat sheet here, it's got a 5.05 inch blade. The handle length is 5.36. You know, when you put a tape measure on these, they're all about 5 1/4 inches, okay? And the weight on this one is 0.81 of a pound. So, you know, it's not quite a pound, and which is, you know, pretty good. It's a little over 3/4 of a pound, so probably in and around 9-10 ounces, somewhere in there. This particular blade, which is the 38, the 38 is a 7-inch blade length, and they're going from the tip to the handle here, to the leading edge of the scales. Again, this one shows it as a 5.37 inch handle on it, so you know, it's 1/100 of an inch longer than the 38. You put them side by side and, you know, okay, I guess that just depends on the day and who's measuring them. Blade lengths are obviously slightly different in length. and the profiles are a little bit different. This one with the clip point on it is a much sharper pointed blade. This one has more of a roach belly or a rounded scenario. The 37 is the big one. In fact, if we put all three of these side by side, you can see the size difference here, and they're just kind of progressively larger and larger and larger. The 37 again has a 5.38 inch handle on it. Again, you put them side by side. I'm not going to tell, you know, a hundredths of an inch difference on that. This one is a little bit larger. It's got a what they call the 7-inch blade. I'm sorry. The 38 actually came with the blade length is 5.77 inches. The cutting surface on this is just right at about 5.5 inches roughly. But what they do is they measure all the way back to the handle, and that's where you get the full length. The cutting surface on it's a little bit shorter. In fact, this one shows it as being a 7-inch blade, but the cutting surface is actually 6 inches. So a little bit different. The 36 and the 37 both come with the choil here. Now throughout the video when I'm testing these, you'll hear me occasionally call it a chortle. I just tend to intermix the two terms for some reason. I don't really know why. A chortle by definition is a wheezy, breathy type of chuckle. So maybe when I'm referring to this, I'm just kind of chuckling to myself because now I can really get up close and handle the knife and get a good pivot point for some of the finer tasks. Technically speaking, the choils, from what I've read online, could be actually a place where you would catch an opponent's blade in a knife fight, okay? And they are not sharpened, okay? This was considered to be, you know, a sharpening or a sharpened area here, then obviously you wouldn't be putting your finger in it to choke up on the knife and be able to do some of the finer carving tasks and such. So anyway, these are the three blades that we're going to go through and review. They are all 1095 carbon steel. It has a powder coating on it. It's a little bit rough. You can kind of see on this blade here a little bit where as I went through it and as you watch the subsequent videos, it kind of stuck to this powder coating a little bit. It's worn off on the ridge of the, you know, where the ridge of the grind is here on the different blades. It did that on the 37 as well. You can kind of see that here. Yes, the powder coating has worn off a little bit. For me, not an issue. I may strip them down and just put some gun bluing on it or something like that, just because you know, this is going to wear off. It is 1095 carbon steel, so you do have the issue of rust associated with the steel itself. But as we all know, 1095 carbon steel is very strong steel, and it's easy to sharpen and will hold an edge forever. And speaking of edges, all of these knives have basically a hollow grind on them. If you get up close, hopefully you guys will be able to see that. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Put it behind my jacket here. But anyway, it's got a hollow grind on it, which means it kind of comes from the wide part or the spine of the knife, kind of comes down, and then it does to a point. It's got kind of a curve to it. Does a couple of different things for you. It allows you to do some of the finer tasks because the blade profile is a little bit narrower, you know, throughout this portion of the blade down here. Comes off of the full width here, kind of comes down. Like I said, you can go online, you can look at the profiles on some pencil line drawing type things, and you get a really good idea of what that hollow grind looks like. When you sight down that, after you've looked at that, you'll understand exactly what a person means by this. Would highly recommend you do the research on that. So, they all come with that. They came out of the box, and I mean scary sharp. They've done a fantastic job of getting their edges put together on these knives. So, anyway, watch the next couple of videos on here. I'm going to do each one of these individually. And then at the conclusion of that, I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on all of the different blades, how well they functioned, the things that I liked about them, the things that I don't like about them. So, And I got to tell you what, the pros are huge, the cons are way down here. So anyway, guys, stay with me, watch the next 3 videos, and then after that, come back and see my conclusions. Thanks.